They're the people that walk around this earth and they think they have endless days on this planet. And patiently persistent people are the ones that are accomplishing the things they want to accomplish. And so, it's just very interesting to me, right? To read history a little bit and to learn about other people. All right. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Clear channel, KLEAR. Appreciate everybody jumping on live this morning to help us get our next episode rocking and rolling. I want to wish everyone happy holidays. I know just December 1, December 1st is today. I can't believe it's already coming to an end of 2023. And there's so many things that I've learned this year. And my topic today is actually something I feel can impact a lot of people in the workplace. So if you know somebody that has interest in hitting their goals and it's still finishing the year strong and launching into 2024 and accomplish even more goals, in my opinion, I got some good stuff for you guys today. Happy Thanksgiving. I have incredible gratitude around the life that I've built with my family and the business we have, and the people that I get a chance to work with. So make sure you know that you are blessed. We all are blessed compared to a lot of people. All right. So what I want to talk about today is three types of people in the workplace. It's a concept that I'm going to jump into a little bit deeper than I have in the past. I've brought it up a few times in the past here in my office in the company. Haven't talked about it too much on the channel, but I believe it's going to be about 15, 20 minutes of content. But I believe this could really help you shift your mindset in accomplishing your goals. So there's three types of people in the workplace. So if you're taking notes and you want to kind of take a lot away from this, start off with a couple, the first part, and then kind of leave some area, and then we'll go through all three. So the first type of person in the workplace is someone who is patiently passive. Patiently passive. The second type of person in the workplace is someone who is impatiently persistent. Impatiently persistent. And then the third type of person in the workplace who is someone who is patiently persistent. So I'm going to break each of these down and share some information on. So first one, the patiently passive people. These are the people that are just okay with waiting. They're just okay with like kind of the Bob Marley type of attitude. Like, that's all right. It's going to be fine. Someday I'll get there. They're the ones that are like, you know what? If we don't do it today, maybe tomorrow. It's all right. Maybe the next day. They're the people that walk around this earth and they think they have like, endless days on this planet because it's just okay. They're just like, I'll be fine. Right. And it's, they're the ones that they think if they push hard that it's gonna, it's out of it's uncomfortable. Like, why would I stand up for myself? Why would I push to accomplish things? Or in companies, these are the ones that are employees. They just do enough just to get by or just to not get fired. Right? Whatever the goals are as an organization, whatever the metrics are in their role as a company, this is the line, and barely they hit it. And the only time they do exceed it is if someone in leadership or someone around them, in a way shares information with them that, hey, if you don't hit this metric, you're not going to work here anymore. You're going to work somewhere else. You're going to go back to your old shitty job. Right? And they're the ones that, they're kind of bored with life. They're just like very plain. And, they don't want to make waves. Their mindset is, I don't want to rock the boat because it's cool. I'm all right. I'm happy when they're really not. Right? Inside, they really just are unhappy people. And they really don't want to do new things unless someone else proves it. They don't push the envelope. And I'll tell you, patiently passive people, I've seen them. And to be fair, part of my career it wasn't as deep as some of that stuff is, but I've been that person thinking that it's okay, that I just need to log my hours and need to do my, put effort in to an extent. But I tell you what, I sure wasn't hell hitting goals when I was patiently passive. And I know the people that hear this and they're like, fuck, neither am I. So that's the first one. The second type of person in the workplace is someone who's impatiently persistent. Impatiently persistent. So these are the people that when you're driving, you're at a stoplight and the light turns green. If you don't go right away, they're honking their horn. Man, come on, why are you not moving forward? They're the ones at restaurants where they place an order, and if they don't get their food in 2 or 3 minutes, they're like causing problems, right? And to be honest, they're kind of a-holes most of the time, right? These are people that are like, if I don't get things done, things aren't done right now. If I don't hit this goal, if I don't get promoted, if I don't hit these numbers, I'm out. And they constantly quit things because things don't happen fast enough, right? They're constantly moving. They're so aggressive and so, trying to get ahead, and they're so impatient with their own progress. They think oftentimes it's the job or it's the opportunity, when all the time it's their attitude and their way they look at things, right? And I'll tell you that this immediate gratification person tends to have a ton of anxiety. They tend to be like very high strung, anxiety everywhere. They kind of frustrate people around them. And it's tough. It's tough. And they, that when they are in a business like sales, like the one in the industry that we're in, they're the ones they're less concerned with quality. They just want things to happen right now, right? They're just, I'll just get it done. All the details, all the things that I need, it's no big deal, right? And, and I'll tell you, they're the ones that oftentimes miss out on great things because they don't finish it. They get pushed and it takes longer than expected. And they, they want something so badly that they're like, they just get frustrated and they move on. And again, this impatiently persistent person is just really tough to work with and tough to have in a team. And if they don't shift their mindset, unfortunately, they don't accomplish a lot of the things they want to accomplish. And you'll go through these evolutions. You'll be in this like circle of a challenge, really. You'll be patiently passive sometimes. You got to kind of catch yourself. You'll be impatiently persistent at times. And again, you got to catch yourself to ultimately move into the space where you're patiently persistent. And patiently persistent people are the ones that are accomplishing the things they want to accomplish. They're accomplishing goals. They're moving ahead in their life. They're exceeding expectations, their own expectations or expectations of their peers, expectations in the workplace. They're really, really moving ahead. They're the ones that set goals. They know that it's going to be challenging. So in challenging times, they're the ones that like evaluate themselves. They look in the mirror a lot and they think about, hey, what do I do well? What am I not doing well? How can I improve myself? Okay, cool. If this is a part of my experience, part of my career, my position that I'm not doing well, okay, cool. How do I get in front of people that are better than I am at this particular task? And they ask questions. They set up coaching conversations where they actually get a mentor. Someone is, again, in a role that they want to be in. They come in super prepared and they have thought put into what they're doing. And they're asking questions. They're getting feedback. They're not taking things personal with the feedback. They're then adjusting their craft, adjusting the things they want to improve. And they, They know that with conscious, pressure and movement and action, they're going to move towards what they want. And, and I'll tell you, a lot of these people are smart when they have really, really big goals and they're patiently, persistently working towards them. They create strategic plans, right? And if you ever get an MBA, one of the things they'll go through is how to create a strategic plan, a business plan, right? If someone's launching a company, that takes a little bit of time and it takes a little bit of persistence, but they create a plan of attack and they have a strategy to that plan of attack. They have consistent follow up with a coach when they kind of, hey, this is where we are, this is where we're looking to go. They also know that as a business person and they're looking to accomplish big goals, that I said this yesterday in our office, that the level of thinking that got you to where you are now is not going to be the level of thinking that's going to get you to where you want to go and accomplish the real goals you have in your life. And so with that being said, they are constantly jumping on YouTube and getting around people that are successful. They're doing audio stuff. They're really they actually calendar in their week when they're going to self-develop. They put time in their calendar to nourish themselves with good information, with people, and with opportunities around successful human beings in their industry, outside their industry. They think this through, right? And they're also ones that know that everything great takes time, that things won't happen overnight. Yes, things may happen a bit longer down the road, but they're also pushing the envelope, right? If somebody says something's going to take a year, they're pushing for it takes 10 months. If something takes 4 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks on average for a promotion, like in our company, it takes 2 to 4 weeks for their first promotion. They're like, I'm going to push it. I want to do it in a week and a half. I want to be above average. I said yesterday, average, right? Like you'll wake up one day in your life, and I heard this on a podcast this morning I listened to, like you'll wake up one day in your life and realize that average sucks. That you don't accomplish your dreams by being average. That you got to push yourself. And again, I've fallen to this world in my life. We all have. I think everyone's got to feel rock bottom before you build something amazing. And I'll tell you, when I think of people in my organization and the workplace in general, the ones that are patiently persistent, they're the ones that are speaking out loud about their goals, right? They actually put it out in the universe constantly. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get promoted by this date. I'm looking to, one of the things in our office is replace blank. There's a few people that have this little hashtag. But that's like willing it into the world. That's asking the universe that, hey, I want to move up into the organization. That's someone who's patiently persistent, right? Someone who's actively picking goals and going after it. And I'll tell you, when I think about these three types of people in the workplace, I can literally, unfortunately, depends on them, I can bucket people in my company in these three different spots. It's interesting. And the ones that are getting ahead the fastest, and the ones that are really growing their skills and really growing their mindset to where they need to be to accomplish the goals that they want to accomplish, are the ones that are patiently persistent. And I'll tell you, some of you guys may not know this, but people that are patiently persistent, if the goal is right, if the thing they really, really want is right, it doesn't matter how long it takes. They're gonna push themselves. No price is too high to pay for something that's really worthwhile in somebody's world. And I'll tell you, you may not know who this is, but I was reading in a book in the last 24 hours. There was a guy named Werner von Braun. He was a German guy, and this is an example of someone who was incredibly patient in his persistence. In the 1920s, his dream was to put people in space and to explore and possibly even go to the moon. In the 1930s, in Germany, a lot of the German government got really scared by some of his ideas. They thought that anyone that was going to be in a missile should be in a missile for war, not to be in space. And they were concerned with all the things he was doing. And the German government actually in the 30s obviously caught wind of the things he was doing, building rockets, doing all this stuff. And in 1944, he was thrown in jail because they didn't want somebody who had this understanding and had these dreams of using rockets for something else besides warcraft and being in war. And years went by in jail, and finally the government let him out. And in a situation where he was actually he agreed that he'd help with the war a little bit, and that was back when World War II was going on and everything else. And although he didn't quite help too much with it, because he then proceeded to do what he wanted to do and build rockets and things for spacecraft. Little known to the government, but they wanted to build rockets to compete against England and the things they had going on in that time. And then next thing you know, that kind of settled down. And after World War II, he was the guy that built the team that actually had the first American satellite to go into orbit. It's called the Explorer 1. And then years later, his team in 1961 launched the first astronaut in space. Alan Shepard was the guy that went into space first. And so, it's just very interesting to me, right? To read history a little bit and to learn about other people and think about the things that they wanted to accomplish and their goals. And I can only imagine the patience he had to have to reach his dreams of getting people in space. And I think it's no different for anyone today that wants to accomplish their dreams and their goals. You got to be patiently persistent. And remember, it's kind of a cycle. Sometimes you'll be going into things and you'll be impatient, right? And you'll be impatiently passive. And you got to, again, the key is having the awareness around it and pulling yourself out of it. And sometimes you'll get overly aggressive and you'll fall into the world of being impatiently persistent, where it's like, gotta be now. And it's like this continuous evolution. But to pull yourself back in and just be patiently persistent, trust me when I tell you, that is the world you want to be in if you want to get ahead to accomplish your goals. And that's the first thing I wanted to cover with you guys today. And then the last thing is there's just some other stuff I heard this morning, and I just want to share it with you all if you want a few more bits of content. I'll tell you, when I think of business and I think of people I get a chance to influence and coach, and including myself in my own career, I'm just going to say what it is. I don't hang out with quitters. I don't hang out with losers. And I'll tell you, my entire life, maybe it's my mom kind of said that to me very early in my life. My mom came to the U.S., many, many years ago from Colombia. And she would always say that success surrounds themselves with success and misery needs company. I remember in sixth grade, I got caught up with a crowd of kids that were throwing rocks at houses. Like, how dumb is that? Right. And I remember the day that, there was one of the kids hit the house and broke a window, and we took off running and whatever. And like a week later, the person who owned the house, it's like the street over from where I lived, came in and knocked on our door, and because they saw us, whatever, and they realized what kids it were in the neighborhood. And I remember the day that we were on the way to soccer practice. I was waiting in the car and I didn't know what happened. My mom gets in the car and she looks at me and she said, "Were you with those kids that I told you to stop hanging out with? The ones that I told you that were going to get in trouble?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Oh, so-and-so from the neighbor over said they saw you running away from their house when their window got broken." And I was like, oh my God. And all my mom had to say was, "I'm just so disappointed in you. I am so disappointed in you for hanging out with that crowd." And I remember, like, that was worse than screaming and yelling and all the things that, she was Hispanic. So all the things that I normally got when I was being a stupid kid, but she was so disappointed. And, and I'll tell you, that was one of my early moments of understanding that there's certain people in the world that are just not choosing to do what they have to do to get ahead. They're not choosing to move forward. And remember, choosing to take action, choosing to be disciplined in your life and to accomplish your goals, that's a choice. Choosing to do nothing is also a choice, right? And so I'll tell you, you will never accomplish your goals if you don't lean into being uncomfortable, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And in the war against yourself, in the war against your own mind, trust me, everyone who succeeds has a moment of truth where they have to decide, am I going to be disciplined? Am I going to lean into it? Am I going to be uncomfortable? Everyone gets to that moment, and moments in general, on a daily basis. And people who succeed tend to, and every time, to be fair, lean into that. And they lean into things that are uncomfortable. They get excited about the things that are uncomfortable, right? And when they get excited about the things that are uncomfortable, they tend to do more, right? They tend to build their confidence. And I'll tell you, I love that pressure. I found that pressure in sports a lot because I was a captain of my team pretty often. But I love the pressure of people, that people put on me, not just in life and business, but I loved it in sports. To me, that's the best way to live because that's when you start accomplishing, you start being empowered, and you tend to do a lot more. So wanted to share that with you guys. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for subscribing. You can find us on obviously YouTube and on the Instagrams and all the other social media sites. But please share this channel with anyone you feel that can benefit. Our whole and my whole, mission is to change the world one leader at a time. So thanks for joining us today. Happy Friday, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.